Class 9 student, today I will discuss your chemistry second chapter is matter around us pure. Okay. Students, all matter may be classified as physical classification and chemical classification. According to physical classification, matters may be classified as solids, liquids and gases. Okay. And according to chemical classifications, matters may be mixtures and pure substances. Mixtures may be homogeneous mixtures or heterogeneous mixtures. Okay? And pure substances are further classified as compounds and elements. Elements classified as metals, non-metals and metalloids. Okay. Now student, we discuss about all types of matters briefly. Okay. At first we say about pure substance. Pure substance, a sample of matter that containing only one kind of substances. They are called pure substances. I am saying once again, a pure substance is a type of matter, all samples of which have same composition and same properties. Okay. Now pure substance may be classified into two groups, that is compounds and elements. So what are elements? An element is the simplest form of matter that cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical reactions. Okay. An element is a basic form of matter that cannot be broken down into simpler substances. And according to modern atomic theory, an element is composed of atoms of the same kind. Clear? So, an element is the simplest form of matter that cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical reactions. Okay? So, if the substances cannot be broken down into yet simpler substances by any means known to chemists, it must be classified as an element. Thus, an element is the simplest form of matter which cannot be split into simpler substances by any physical or chemical method. Is it clear? So, student, now we discuss about different types of elements such as metals, non-metals and metalloids. We know that elements may be further classified as metals, non-metals and metalloids. Okay student. Now student, we discuss about metals and their some features, physical features of metals. Metals such as sodium, potassium, magnesium, zinc, aluminium, iron, copper, silver, gold, these all are the metals. Okay. And metals are elements that exhibit a variety of physical properties such as malleability, ductility, conductivity, luster. Okay. So, what is metallic luster? Metallic lusters means metals have a shining surface. Okay. This property is called metallic lusters. Metals like magnesium and aluminium appear white. Copper is reddish brown and gold is yellow in color. Okay. Hardness is another property of metal. All metals, exceptional some metals, maximum metals are generally hard. Okay. Exceptional are sodium and potassium. They are very soft and they can be cut by a knife. Okay. Metals are malleable. That means metals can be hammered into thin sheets. This property of metal is called malleability. Okay. So, malleability is a special features of metal. By this we can hammer it into thin sheets. Clear? Gold, silver, copper, aluminium, they are malleable metals. Okay. But all metals are not equally malleable. Some are more malleable than the others. Okay. Ductility. Metals can be drawn into a wire. The ability of metals to be drawn into thin wire is called ductility. Okay, so ductility is a special features of metal, that metals when can be drawn into a thin wire, we called this metal is ductile. So ductility is a special features of metal. Gold is a most ductile metal. Okay, it is very interesting to know that wire of about 2 kilometer length can be drawn from 1 gram of gold. Okay, gold 1 gram of gold can be drawn 2 kilometer length of wire. Okay, and metals can be given different shapes according to our needs because of their malleability and ductility. Okay, metals are good conductors of heat. That's why metals substances are used for cooking vessels. We know that. Metals are good conductors of electricity also. Copper wires are commonly used in household cables and flexes in electrical appliances. Okay, aluminium cables are used to carry electricity across the country. Okay, so metals are good conductors of heat and electricity, and metals can carry electricity because they have free electrons. Okay, for this reason metals can conduct electricity. Okay, metals are sonorous. That means when metals stuck with an heavy substances, we hear a metallic sound or ringing sound. Metals have high tensile strength and high density, so their melting and boiling point also will be high. Okay, now student, we discuss about non-metals. Non-metals such as fluorine, bromine, chlorine, iodine, carbon, helium, nitrogen, they all are non-metals. They have some also special features, but maximum features or physical characteristics are just reverse of metals. Okay, but there are some exceptionals also. All the non-metals, maximum non-metals can exist in all the three states, that is solid, liquids and gases. Okay, non-metals, basically solid non-metals are brittle. They break down when hammered or stretched. For example, sulfur and phosphorus are brittle non-metal. Thus, brittleness is a characteristic of non-metals. Okay, malleability. Non-metals are non-malleable. They cannot be beaten into thin sheets. Non-metals are non-ductile. They cannot be drawn into wires. For example, when non-metals such as sulfur and phosphorus are stretched, they break into pieces and do not form wires. Okay. Now, except graphite, all non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity because of the fact that they do not have free electrons. Since graphite is a good conductor of electricity and it is used for making electrodes. Okay, so graphite is an exceptional non-metal that they can conduct electricity. Non-metals have very low tensile strength and are easily broken up. Except diamond, or diamond is the hardest natural substance, we know that. Except diamond, all non-metals are soft. Okay, melting and boiling points of non-metals usually very low. Non-metals are light and have low densities. Okay, now student, we compare these physical properties of metals and non-metals. Metals are malleable, that is, they can be hammered into thin sheets. Non-metals are non-ductile, that is, they cannot be hammered into thin sheets. Okay, metals are ductile and can be drawn into wires. Non-metals are non-ductile and cannot be drawn into wires. Metals have metallic luster and can be polished. Non-metals have no luster, that is, they are dull except iodine and cannot be polished. Okay, metals are good conductors of heat and electricity, but non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity except graphite. Okay, metals have high tensile strength, non-metals have low tensile strength. Metals have high density, but non-metals have low density. The melting and boiling points of metals usually high, but melting and boiling points of non-metals are usually low. Except few metals, all the solid at room temperature. Except few metals, almost all the metals solid at room temperature. Non-metals exist in all the three states of matter: solid, liquid or gas. Okay. Now student, we discuss about the physical properties which are exceptions. For example, all metals except mercury exist as solids at room temperature. Metals have high melting points, but gallium and cesium have very low melting points. These two metals will melt if you keep them on your hand. Okay student, their melting point, boiling point is very low. When you take in your palm, they will be melt. Okay. Iodine is a lustrous non-metal. Carbon is a non-metal that can exist in different forms. They have three forms such as diamond, graphite and fullerenes. These forms have different physical properties, but they have same chemical properties. So they are called allotropes. So allotropic, what is allotropic form of substance? Allotropic forms of substance is because they have different physical properties, but they have the same chemical properties. These different forms of a substance is called allotropic forms. So carbon have three allotropic forms: diamond, graphite and fullerenes. So diamond, the hardest natural substance, and is an allotrope of carbon. Carbon is a form of diamond, has a very high melting point. Carbon is a form of graphite, is a moderate conductor of electricity. Okay, so though graphite is a non-metal, but it can conduct electricity. Okay, metals like lithium, sodium, potassium are very soft and they can be cut with a knife. They have low densities and low melting points. Okay. Thus, elements can be more clearly classified as metals, non-metal on the basis of their chemical properties. But we here discuss all the physical properties. Okay, student. Now, student, we discuss about metalloids. Some elements show some properties of metals and some properties of non-metals. That is, they have intermediate properties between those of metals and non-metals. These elements are called metalloids. Okay, metalloids are sometimes called semi-metals. For example, metalloids are boron, silicon, germanium. Okay. Students, so metalloids are those substances or elements, they show some properties of metals and some properties of non-metals. Okay. For example, metalloids, silicon, germanium. Okay, they are metalloids. Now student, we discuss about compounds. A compound is a substance made up of two or more elements chemically combined in a definite proportion by weight. Okay, compound is a substance which is made up of two or more elements chemically combined in a definite proportion by weight. Okay, so a compound is a pure substance composed of two or more elements chemically combined in a definite or fixed proportion by mass. As a result of chemical combination, their original properties of the element get replaced by an entirely new set of properties that are characteristics of the compound. Clear? I am saying once again, a compound is a pure substance which composed of two or more elements when chemically combined in a definite or fixed proportion by mass. Clear? So as a result of chemical combination, the original properties of the elements gets replaced by an entirely new set of properties that are characteristics of the compound. Clear? For example, when water formed, we write H2O. That means 2 parts of hydrogen react with 1 part of oxygen. It forms water. Okay, so within water, ratio of hydrogen and oxygen is 2:1. When hydrogen and oxygen react, they form a newly substance, that means water. But in this new product, they haven't any properties of hydrogen or oxygen. They form a new substance, and its chemical physical properties are different from its constituent elements. That means properties of hydrogen and oxygen are not present in the properties of water. Clear? Students, now we discuss about some characteristics of a compound. A chemical compound is formed by the chemical reaction between two or more elements in a definite proportion by weight. Okay. Compounds are homogeneous. That means it contains the same kind of molecules and thus their properties are same throughout. Okay. The components of a compound cannot be easily separated by mechanical or physical means. That means from the water, you don't take hydrogen and oxygen by any physical separation method. You have to apply any chemical separation method by which you can get hydrogen and oxygen. Clear? So the components of a compound cannot be easily separated by mechanical or any physical means. So you have to apply chemical separation method. Clear? The physical and chemical properties of a compound are entirely different from those of its constituent elements. For example, hydrogen is a combustible gas, while oxygen is a supporter of combustion. But their compound when formed, that is water, is neither combustible nor supporter of combustion. Clear? Chemical compounds generally possess sharp melting and boiling point. Okay. Formation of a compound is associated with the absorption or evolution of heat, light or electricity. For example, the formation of carbon dioxide occurs by the absorption of heat. That means when you produce carbon dioxide, carbon and oxygen will be heated. Then you can produce carbon dioxide. Okay, so depending upon the source of formation, compound are two types: inorganic compounds and organic compounds. Inorganic compounds are compounds obtained from non-living sources such as rock, minerals, etc. are called inorganic compounds. Okay, and examples of inorganic compounds are chalk, marble, baking powder, salt, etc. Okay. Organic compounds. Students, organic compounds are those which obtained from living sources such as plants, animals. Okay. For example, proteins, oils, petroleum, carbohydrates, they all are organic compounds. So we can get organic compounds from living sources, that is plant source, or it may be animal sources. Okay. Now student, we explain about mixture. A mixture is a substance which consists of two or more elements or compounds in any proportion and not chemically combined together. I'm saying once again, a mixture is a substance in which two or more elements, or it may be compounds also, are simply mixed together in any proportions. Okay. For example, air is a mixture of different kinds of gases: oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water vapor. Okay, so air is a mixtures. Mixtures may be classified as homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. A homogeneous mixture has a uniform composition throughout its mass. That means it has no visible boundaries of separation between the various constituents of homogeneous mixture, and it exists usually in one phase. A mixture of sugar in water, which we call sharbat, is a homogeneous mixture. Similarly, air is a homogeneous mixture of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, water vapor. Okay. So in a homogeneous mixtures, throughout its composition, throughout the substance, its composition is uniform. That means throughout the mixtures, its constituents ratio will be fixed. In a homogeneous mixtures, its constituents ratio is fixed throughout the mass. Clear? Homogeneous mixtures can exist in all three phases. It may be solid, liquid, or gases. Okay? And heterogeneous mixtures is that in which the composition is not uniform throughout. Okay? Because of the uneven distribution, the constituents of the homogeneous mixtures are visible with naked eye, or at least under microscope. A mixture of sand, salt, and iron fillings is a heterogeneous mixture in which each constituent can be easily picked up by our hands. Okay. So in a heterogeneous mixtures, its constituents composition is not uniform throughout the mixture. Clear? Okay. Now student, what are the characteristics of mixture? A mixture have the components which may be separated by physical methods. That means components of a mixture can be separated by physical method, and melting point and boiling point of the mixture is never sharp. The constituents of a mixtures are not present in any definite proportion. They may be present in any proportion. The constituents do not lose any characteristic properties in a mixture. In fact, a mixture shows a properties of all its constituents. For example, a Srikanji has a taste of lemon, salt, and sugar. So all the characteristics of lemon, salt, sugar present in Shikanji. Okay. No heat, light, or electrical energy may be evolved or absorbed during the formation of mixture. Okay. So student, learn all these characteristics, differences, and definitions. Okay. In your next class, we discuss about different separating methods of mixtures. Okay? Okay. Thank you.